Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on ABS Television. The headlines: Conversion of agricultural waste to wealth commences in Anambra State. National Orientation Agency intensifies sensitization on strategic dialogue in conflict resolution. National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, seeks collaboration in the fight against illicit drugs. And on the foreign scene, North Korea's President Kim sets deadline for summit with the U.S. My name is Priska Wangho, and now the details of the news. Proprietors of private schools in the state have been charged to run a transparent, accountable, value-based and quality education system in the state. The Commissioner for Basic Education, Professor Kate Omenoha, was speaking at the State Internal Revenue Service, ORCA, during an interactive meeting on what is expected of the proprietors to do in terms of tax payments. Amaka Chibuzo Okoye filed this report taken from our studio.
Professor Omenoha, while commending them for giving Anambra children education that is globally competitive in line with the vision of Governor Obiano, said that they need to add their quota in the development of the state by paying their taxes as and when due.
Fortunately, nobody is an island, and we need to work with a lot of people to ensure that we keep on giving the required things we're expected to give to our children. Cooperation, so that the government can move better and better. That's what we're asking for.
The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Anambra State Internal Revenue Service, Dr. David Nzeku, said they have the mandate to work with any organization in moving the state forward, stating that they recognize the importance of education and see schools as a critical area of disseminating information on revenue to future generations. Dr. Nzeku said they should render annual returns to the board and enlighten them on personal income and withholding tax, advising proprietors to always deduct payee from the salaries of their staff and remit to the board. He explained that every business setup should within 6 months register with the board to open an account, conduct tax audit, and investigate the operations of the business.
We have a mandate to work with everybody in the state, every organization in the state, to ensure that stipulations of the tax laws are followed.
In his reaction, the president proprietors of private schools, Mr. Uzoku Wanonyo, appealed to the board to differentiate schools from other businesses. Contributing, another member of Private School Proprietors Association, Sasoni Anekwe, maintained that synergy between them and the board is cordial and called for more sensitization and enlightenment on what they expected to do. In a remark, the Board of Trustee Chairman of Private Schools Proprietors, Lady Pat Okeke, pledged their support and loyalty to the government, assuring they will continue to work with the Ministry of Education so as to produce intelligent and brilliant children.
The federal government, in collaboration with IFAD VCDP, has commenced the process of evacuating agricultural waste materials from across the state and converting them to wealth. To achieve this, they've procured a briquetting machine for converting mixture of rice husk, waste paper, starch, and others into firewood, as well as another machine for converting cassava peels to animal feed. Agri correspondent Ebele Eze reports that a briquetting machine is now installed at Udoka Rice Mill or more IMLM local government area for rice farmers, while cassava peels conversion machine is installed at Mbwako, Oka North Council area. The details and more on this report from our studio.
Speaking at Mbwako during one-day training of processors on converting cassava peels into animal feed, the State Agro-Processing and Quality Enhancement Officer in the agency, Mr. Bonaventure Mochebe, urged women and youths to embrace the innovation as an enterprise, assuring that there is ready market for it. Mr. Mochebe, who urged them to desist from abusing the environment and ensure proper disposal of waste generated from the processing centers, noted that they could cause health hazards.
Value chain limit feed to train the farmers on the conversion of the cassava peel to animal feed. So the process being that you get the peel, wash it, you dry it. After drying it, you will subject it to hammer mill, where it will now be crushed into powder.
One of the participants, Mr. Raphael Emeka, welcomed the technology and thanked the federal government IFAD VCDP for availing them the opportunity of diversifying their income generation.
When you all those things come, you will convert it to the way that you are going to make use of it instead of wasting it away. Then you gather some money, little money about from that.
Another participant, Mrs. Helen Nnemeka, said the diversification could create employment for the teeming women and youths.
What we are learning today is how to add value, and when you use all these things to rear your animals, you find that they are different from the ones that you go to the market to buy feed, and it will also reduce costs.
For some time now, it appears that application of strategic dialogue in resolving conflicts has remained elusive in many states. It was perhaps in view of this that the State Directorate of the National Orientation Agency embarks on a one-day sensitization on the importance of using dialogue in conflict resolution at Awka South Local Government Headquarters with the theme, Building a People of Peace. The program was organized for stakeholders in the states, including the civil society groups, paramilitary agencies, women groups, and town union leaders, amongst others. Correspondent Blessing Uchendu was part of the program and brought back this report.
Speaking on the importance of the program, the State Director of the National Orientation Agency, Barrister Charles Ngoji, identified economic crunch, marginalization, corruption, religious intolerance, among others, as some of the major factors responsible for violent clashes in Nigeria. He maintained that to build a people of peace in the country, the citizenry must learn to live together despite differences in tribe, language, culture, and creed.
The aim of this program is to find ways of diminishing and averting the possibility of existing or new internal crises among communities and members on the one hand, and between communities and settlers on the other.
The chairman on the occasion and the national president, Anambra State Association of Town Unions, Chief Alex Onukwe, was of the opinion that peace is inseparable from man's life, as nothing meaningful can be achieved without peace.
I would therefore enjoin this assembly of men and women to see how we can contribute to the discussions that we are going to have today, so that at the end we will have made a very positive contribution to building people of peace in our communities in our country.
Sharing their thoughts on the program, the State Controller of Prisons, Mr. Emmanuel Nwakeze, the State Commandant, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Mrs. Obiageli Obiajolo, represented by the Assistant Commandant, Mr. Kennedy Anyanwu, the Chairman of the State Civil Society Network, Prince Chris Azo, among others, suggested ways of ending the herdsmen and farmers' clashes in Anambra State. Some youth representatives at the program also called for their involvement in activities concerning the re-establishment of a viable and peaceful social order. The event featured an interactive session and drama presentation on the importance of peace. From Awka South Council Headquarters, Amobia, Blessing Uchendu, ABS News.
With the 2019 general elections come and gone, the Nigeria political scene is faced yet with a struggle and agitation of who get what in the May-June 2019 inauguration of a new federal government. Correspondent Emmanuel Okonkwo went to town on the issue and came back with divergent views on how to share power among the various interest groups in the country. His reports.
Wing of the All Progressives Congress, APC Southeast Zone, in their view, made a case for the inclusion of all geopolitical zones other than Northwest and Southwest in the incoming federal administration by allotting to them key leadership positions in the Federal House of Representatives and the Senate, The youth wing of the party, who spoke through its zonal leader, Chief Olisaemeka Onyeka, shortly after a closed-door meeting of the executive members in Awka, remarked that such consideration would make Southeast and others experience equity, fairness, and justice. Chief Onyeka pointed out that the Southeast zone gave the APC more number of votes in 2019 than it did in 2015, adding that there are now ranking members who can occupy any high position at the Federal House of Representatives and red chambers from the Southeast zone.
Northwest has the president already. Southwest, vice president. Then the remaining Senate president, deputy Senate president, speaker, and 4 should naturally go to the other 4 zones. We equally call on Mr. President. We thank you, Mr. President, for the projects you've been doing. You've cited in the Southeast. Yeah, however, ask that you push your ministers to ensure that they expedite action and increase the pace of work on those projects.
This view, however, appears at variance with that of one-time chairman of Nigeria Labour Congress in Anambra State, Comrade Charles Onyagba, who feels that the leadership of the incoming government and party coming to power should naturally choose key officers from where they received large chunk of votes. Comrade Onyagba regretted that Southeast voting pattern has robbed the zone of the moral strength to demand for leadership position in the legislature. In a phone interview, the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Political Matters, Dr. Vero Okechukwu, recommended the adoption of zoning system in allocation of positions in all the key areas of the country as a way of ending the ever-rising agitations emanating from various parts of the country. In Awka, I am Emmanuel Okonkwo, reporting for ABS News.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has called for collaboration from the non-governmental organizations in taking drastic action towards strengthening drug demand reduction strategies. Colonel Muhammad Abdullah, retired Chairman and Chief Executive of NDLEA, who made the call in Abuja, said such strategies should focus on evidence-based drug use prevention, treatment, and care in Nigeria. Represented by CDR Kayode Adeniyi, Commander of Narcotics in NDLEA, he noted that though considerable efforts are being made by the agency to combat drug abuse, there was an urgent need for CSOs, NGOs, and other community groups to embark on continuous enlightenment campaigns against indiscriminate use of drugs. Abdullah, who identified drug abuse as a global phenomenon, emphasized that no nation was free from its adverse effects and consequences. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un said he is open to a third summit with U.S. President Donald Trump, but that failure to reach mutually acceptable terms risked reviving tensions. Kim said he would wait until the end of the year for the U.S. to make a courageous decision on another meeting after his most recent summit with Trump in Vietnam broke down and both sides left without an agreement. Trump and Kim have met twice in Hanoi in February and Singapore in June, building goodwill but failing to agree on a deal to lift sanctions in exchange for North Korea abandoning its nuclear and missile programs. Washington has blamed the February deadlock on the North's demands for sanctions relief in return for limited nuclear disarmament, but Pyongyang said it had wanted only some of the measures eased. Grand Hermano Academy holds maiden inter-house sports in Awka. Gold House emerged the overall winner at the maiden edition of the Grand Hermanos Academy Inter-House Sports Competition. Ekwi Ajde was at the Inter-House Sports held at the ABS Field, Awka, and reports that Gold House came tops after securing 406 points. Her reports.
Diamond House followed with 318 points, while Emerald House came third with 306 points, followed by Sapphire House, which came fourth with 249 points in the sporting event. The children were obviously elated as they entertained the crowd in some field and track events, including 25 meters race for pre-nursery pupils, 50 meters race for primary school pupils, 100 meters race junior and senior categories, relay race, sack race, egg race, and bursting the balloons, among many others. Parents and teachers of the children were not left out as they too aspired for glory. Some parents who spoke to ABS, including the Anambra State Commissioner for Works, Engineer Marcel Ifejofo, a former member of the State House of Assembly, Honorable Ejofo Egwato, and an industrialist, Mrs. Michelle Nwabeze, described sports as the key to all-round well-being.
Sport is a serious development, both mentally and physically. You could see how happy the kids are. Sports is one of those very necessary parts of growing up, and exposing them to this kind of trainings will balance their mental states, will make them feel better, make them physically fit, mentally fit, and very well prepared for the future.
Earlier in his opening remarks, the Director of Studies, Grand Hamano Academy, Mr. Adefolahan Adeboyage, said the maiden event was an opportunity to also prepare the children physically.
We are known for one thing, academic excellence. We always set the pace. These things will be achieved by these wonderful teachers of Grand Hamano Academy.
The event also featured presentation of gifts to victorious persons and houses and lighting of the Olympic flame by the Chief Executive Officer of Grand Hamano Academy, Oka Chijoke Mwajoha. In Oka, Ekwi Ajde, ABS News.
Top government officials, the religious communities, youth and stakeholders in the state converged at Umulichi Obu village, Abatete, to pay their last respect to Pascal Onyilo, killed in mob action at Umoji in the Dembele North local government area 2 months ago. The gathering once again highlighted the pain of increasing rate of jungle justice in the society that resulted to the unjust killing of Pascal in a mob action in February 2019 at Umoji. Correspondent Chibuzo Obidike takes the story from here.
Pascal Onyilo was, until his death, survived by his wife and 2 little children. His journey to eternity began with a holy mass at his country home, Umuluchi Obu, Abatete, and attracted the presence of the aged, which showed the humility of late Pascal in his community and the state at large. Speaking shortly after the mass, Governor Willie Obiano, while expressing the hope that Abatete and Umuoji communities will maintain the cordial coexistence they are known for, regretted the increasing rate of jungle justice in the society and made it clear that the state government will deal decisively with perpetrators of such acts. He advised all to pursue justice through the appropriate authorities instead of taking laws into their hands. The governor, who was represented by the Anambra State Head of Service, Barrister Harry Odo, who was saddened over the death of Pascal, condoled the family and Abatete community while urging them to accept the laws with Christian equanimity in order not to cry like people without hope.
It's terrible that it happened, but then it's the will of God. So all these circumstances, I think it could have happened to any other person. So let it be taken in that.
Earlier in his homily during the burial mass, the parish priest, Most Holy Name of Mary Catholic Church, Abatete, Reverend Father Ernest Ezewuzie, represented by the catechist of the parish, Mr. Anthony Akunda, drew the attention of Christians to their lifestyle while on earth, as it will be used to judge them on the last day.
It is not my portion. But all your portion, and not my portion. This is what you are portion of Pascal. No was in Ketata.
In their separate reactions, the President General of Abatete Community, Chief Ikechukwu Chukwuka, and the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Environment, Mr. Stanley Nkwoka, who hails from the community, described the death of late Pascal as ill-fated. They noted that the community is in dialogue with Umuoji, as the two communities have a historical blood bond and sympathized with the Onyulo family to bear the irreplaceable loss with fortitude.
His demise touched me so much. Look at the family he left behind. Look at the surrounding, the environment that he manufactured. This showed and displayed and made proof that somebody really loved his compound.
Pascal is a childhood friend. We grew up together, attended the same school, the same class. It's something nobody expected. From to happen to somebody like Pascal, somebody who has that top humility, hardworking, for such evil to be holding, it's unspeakable.
From Abatete in Idemili North Council area, Chibuzo Bidike, ABS News.
Remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by liking our Facebook page at ABS Radio Television. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/ABS Radio TV online. Follow us on Twitter at ABS Radio TV and on Instagram at ABS Radio TV. You can also log on to our website at www.absradiotv.com. And now the main points. Conversion of agricultural waste to wealth has commenced in the state. National Orientation Agency has intensified sensitization on strategic dialogue in conflict resolution. National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, seeks collaboration in the fight against illicit drugs. On the foreign scene, North Korea's President Kim has set deadline for summit with the U.S. That's the end of the news, edited by Paul Izoke and the production team. My name is Priska Wankwo. Many thanks for listening. Good morning.